Welcome back to Life Through Our Eyes. This is your host, Debbie.
And I'm Jackie.
So great to have you back. So, today we're going to be talking about Earth Day. So, this is near and dear. Yay! This is near and dear to me and Jackie because even since we were little kids, we always appreciated the earth. We always were on like the little Nickelodeon where you have to like offer hours to cleaning up the earth and things like that and doing those challenges. So, we're just so happy to be able to talk to you guys about some of the things that have been on our hearts about our earth and the things that we can do to help it and just to honor Earth Day because I mean April 22nd for many many years now has been celebrated internationally as Earth Day. So we just wanted to tis the season type episode and just honor something that's been very very special to me and Jackie our whole lives, and just a topic that we are very close to and want to continue our entire lives doing everything that we can to give back to the earth and to give back to people so that future generations can have the same or even better access to the earth than what we've had. So thank you again for joining us. We're so excited. So today, let's kind of start off, Jackie. Is there something in particular that you kind of want to talk about? I know we've had like conversations here and there about what we found during this as we've been exploring different topics for Earth Day and different ideas. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to share that was interesting that you found out?
Absolutely. So one of the things I always think of is what can we do, during Earth Day that actually is good to do every day, but this is a day we're just gonna like focus on this. And one of the
Mhm.
ones that I feel like is probably my favorite is grounding. So I
Yes.
just wonderful, right? It's just a very simplistic way to just get one with nature. You take your socks and shoes off and ground or feet on the ground, right? Not
Yes, literally.
concrete, not the floor of wherever you live. It needs to be on the ground, on the earth. Earth.
Dirt, grass, whatever, just somewhere on the earth.
And I
Sand,
mean,
exactly.
I think you could kind of even do grounding in water, like go into a creek. I think that's still like a grounding because you're
Yeah,
still
you're still
on.
you're still touching some sort of earth surface under
Exactly.
the water. So
E-
yeah.
Exactly. And one of the things that I found is really cool. So I found some like scientifically backed information about grounding because like we've talked about before, I feel like a lot of people can push some of this like kind of on the like, oh, that's woo woo stuff, right? But there's actually things that back the amazingness of it. I mean, I can't really put it any other way. It's amazingness.
Yeah. No, I agree. The
Yeah.
earth is amazing. I think that's why our native brothers and sisters called it Mother Earth, honored it and gave it, that personification because it very much so is alive. Just recently, just to cut in, scientists said that Earth, they finally detected a heartbeat. They said about every 26
I, s-
seconds,
I saw that
it
too.
pulsates like a
Mhm.
heartbeat. So even to go along with your grounding situation, like there is a real pulse and energy that the earth gives off that we need, and our ancestors readily had available to them because they didn't have shoes that had these rubber soles that prevented them from that energy flow to go in there. So grounding is something that I've learned of years ago, and even since a child, that was the thing that I've always loved. I've always wanted my shoes off touching the earth, and I hated to wear shoes. So even looking back, like, wow, I naturally had a knowing that I felt better connected to the earth than when I was disconnected.
Absolutely. And it's cool too to think, I've always thought this connection was always kind of cool how it's the sole of your feet.
Yeah.
Like
Reaching, preventing you from, yeah, touching the soul of the earth,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I 100% agree with that. I mean, even when me and you were hanging out as little girls, we were always walking around outside. We didn't want to be cooped up inside.
Never.
Like we were outdoors, and I remember you definitely did like the feet on the ground for sure.
Yeah,
For
girl.
sure. One of the things that I found that it helps that I thought was cool was the reducing inflammation.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So
Now
they
that we're getting
say
older, we need these joints to be good. We don't want the inflammation.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
girl.
they found that by grounding, what it does is it actually, you're able to absorb the negatively charged electrons. What that does is it neutralizes the free radicals in our bodies, and it just reduces that inflammation. Like, that's so amazing
That is
to think that you can
incredible.
just feet on the ground, you've got a lot of inflammation going on, there's your healing, or at
Yes.
least some
And
there's a natural way.
yeah, no, and for people like my mother who are handicapped and it's not easy for them to get
Mhm.
outside, there are grounding blankets and other grounding tools where they literally can bring that into your private indoor space to allow you to have that outside energy to be conducted and you to still get those benefits. So that's, I mean, it's really incredible. Has done incredible things with understanding grounding and giving us even more tools to be able to help ourselves and our loved ones and our
Absolutely.
pets. Even imagine if we had little grounding beds or grounding towers for our cats and dogs and stuff, like
They
that would be
actually, I've
phenomenal.
seen where they have where you can actually grow like a patch of grass for, it's a lot of people like in Japan and stuff that have like, they're all in these like no nature accessible in their
Yeah,
home basically.
they're kind of
So,
like
and
New
they have
York with these big
cats.
skyscrapers.
Exactly. So they'll get these little like, it's like cat grass or whatever, and they can be able to get on it and feel like they're one with nature. Like, they got to be with it too. Yeah, it's amazing because one
That
of the
is
other
great.
things I do want to point out that it does, and then we can
No,
bring
continue,
up some
please. I
other
love it.
bullet
I'm sorry for
points.
interrupting.
Oh, no, no, no! I love it. I love it. That's how conversations go. But the fact of what it does, it balances our nervous system. So instead of us being in the sympathetic state, which is fight or flight, it helps shift you into the parasympathetic state, which is
Rest
rest
and
and
relax.
digest. Yeah, and
Yep, rest,
relax.
digest,
Exactly.
relax. Yep. No, digest is a
Exactly.
great one too, because that's literally the stage where you digest. So that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. I thought those are probably the top two for me. And of course, there's like stress reduction. It helps with like anxiety, depression, like all this stuff. It's been linked. There's
Yeah.
just a lot of amazingness. So
But
I
those two
definitely
are
think, yeah,
specifically irrefutable, basically. Like those two
absolutely,
benefits are so irrefutable
yeah.
that you don't have to go through the list of 25 different benefits
Mhm.
when those two should be enough to make anyone want to enjoy the benefits of grounding.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, it just again takes me back to my childhood. And my father even told me when he was a
Mhm.
little child that he would often get in trouble by his parents and teachers for not wearing shoes to school, even up into middle school.
Mm,
He said he would leave in a pair of shoes and then hide them in a bush and then walk to school barefoot because he enjoyed being barefoot and people made
that's
fun of him for being
hilarious.
barefoot, but he loved
Bless
it. There
his
was
heart.
something
And he was
about
like, I
it
like
that
it.
I just like it. And he would get beat by his parents sometimes for not wearing shoes. And I just found that to be so interesting how children specifically that are so pure and so still close to source and close to that divine wisdom that we are born with, and how they will naturally have these inclinations to do
Mhm.
things that years and years later or even before science has already proven are beneficial, but we're just born into this body and into this life, and some things we are naturally privy to, and I think that's
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely, children can be more susceptible to listening,
Yes.
like to
Or
their inner
believing
self,
the
like,
impossible.
exactly.
Because
That's a big
adults
thing
are like,
too.
no, that's not logical. This is not good. And,
Hmm.
and children believe anything. That's why they believe in Santa and the Tooth Fairy and Peter Pan,
Yep.
like,
Yep. Little fairy dust. I
who doesn't want fairy dust though? I want some fairy dust in my
know,
life
right?
too.
Who
I wish I
doesn't?
could still believe in it, but I just need fairy dust to like sprinkle over my life and pay all my bills and my debts and stuff and
Yeah.
give me a job that like pays me twice as much, and I would just
I
be
want to like
so
fly to work and
grateful.
not have to like worry about a vehicle.
Yay, that's great. You do know that they just talking about different innovations in the earth and stuff.
Mhm, mhm.
They have just come up with a flying vehicle recently that they just test drove. I believe it was in Asia again because they are very innovative in that
Innovative.
region of the
Yep,
world,
yep.
and they're not as worried about. This is one thing I've noticed about old countries versus new baby countries like ours in America.
Right.
In
Mhm,
America, we've
mhm.
been here for less than 400 years. Natives obviously have been here longer, but as far as a country, we've only
Right.
been here for, over 400 years. I think 250 or 260 something on the books. Older countries, what I've noticed, are very, very, very good at looking at life from like a long term
Mhm.
perspective.
Right.
Like you look at places like Egypt, the Middle East, China, the Great Wall of China. Think of how many hundreds, if not maybe more years it
Mhm.
took for different generations of humans to create that wall,
So
all
many.
having the same goal, knowing that they will never be alive to see the finished product.
Right.
Same with the temples and mosques in the Middle East and the pyramids in Africa and in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, we in these younger countries like America, we don't have enough foresight
Mhm.
to
Right.
to work on a thing
Mhm.
for our whole life
Right.
and not get to
And
see
never
the
see the
and
result.
never see the end
Yeah,
result.
we want the instant.
Exactly.
I want it now. I want
I
to
mean,
see
look,
it.
we're
It's got to happen.
exactly. We're in the age of technology, AI, Amazon. We want everything now. Amazon now.
Yep.
Amazon,
Yep.
like give me the things now. As soon as I can imagine it, I want it as quickly as possible into
Yep.
my hands.
Yep. Yep. 100%. And
And
I'll
it
even pay extra to get it to happen.
and also I'll do you one better. I won't even care about what effects it has on the earth and the
That
environment
part.
in order to get it right now.
That part. Which brings me to another point that we have.
Yes.
The whole consumer industry that we have, or this consumer mindset of like, get this, get this, get this, waste, 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 waste.
I
It
mean,
just
it's the
like,
big mega corporation mindset because they're the one that is
mm,
overproducing, overproducing. Like, we would not overconsume if they did not overproduce.
right?
Like, let's just go back 50, 60 years ago. If you
Yeah.
wanted a table made, you had to go put an order in for the table, and it might take 6 to 8 weeks or maybe a couple months or more to be able to produce said table and deliver it to you. Now we go in, we walk in the store, give me that table right now. Great, let's go home. I need it now because I have a dinner party in 8 hours. Like, what happened to patience as a virtue? It's like we're moving away from our virtues and we're moving closer to just instant gratification, which lasts less of a like span of time than the ones that you wait for, because you get that time with the other one of anticipating and looking forward to said table and envisioning it in your space versus you going making a quick split second decision and imagining it and it being in your house hours later. I just feel like it does something to us, and it like on our internal wiring for us to believe that everything should happen to us instantaneously as soon as we imagine it versus putting a thought into our mind, having a desire, and then working towards it and taking time to achieve
Mhm.
the thing that we want, you
Right.
know?
Well, and plus the materials that can
Yes.
produce something so quickly. And if it can be produced quickly, sometimes it can break quickly. So what does that become? Waste quickly. So
Girl, so it's
that's
the
the
trash
cycle. That's
quickly.
the
Yes.
And now
Yes,
these
that's so
products
true.
that are these kind of materials tend to be hazardous and not biodegradable. And that's
Right.
an issue that we're into as well. Which is
Right.
again another bullet point I know we've discussed is, choosing sustainable products.
Yes. Like,
Hmm.
especially with renewable energy, as I was looking
Yes.
into
Hmm.
research on this, renewable energy has been so pooped on by big companies
Yeah.
because it affects their bottom line. That's just point blank. That's what happens. They're the competitor. They don't want the competitor, winning out or beating them. So they want to put forth their good, their good side and go, "Oh, but we cleaned up X amount of oil spills and we did this and we contributed X amount of money to this charity and that one." But then they don't like go, "Hey, but the oil spills happened because we miscalculated or we paid off via lobbyist funds to government officials so that we could go back and diminish some of these regulations that we have so that we don't have to waste money on this thing or that thing that ultimately protects humans and the earth and animals,
Right.
that are in
Mhm.
the earth and plants
Exactly.
too.
That
So
like
it
we're
affects
trying
the
to
earth
work
and
towards.
right, that we want to work
Yeah.
towards. But you sit up here and say, "Oh, what we're doing is so good." Oh, fossil fuel, that's a natural resource, so that's a good thing. But they don't talk about the waste and the harm that it does to the
Mhm.
earth and the harm it does to the people and everyone working with it. Whereas when you say, think about wind or solar, oftentimes people, including myself until I did research, have a misconception that this is like new technology. Like, oh,
Right.
let's try
Right.
wind or
Mhm.
solar. But according to my studies, this has been going on for thousands of
Mhm.
years in
What
humanity, that these
hydroponics and
two,
mhm.
and water, hydroponic as well. Like, we have always used these natural resources in these ways to create energy. So fossil fuel is the baby, kind of going again between old country concepts and new country concepts.
Mhm.
We are only focused in America on fossil fuels because we have the largest store in the world of fossil fuels. So if you have the largest store, of course you want to keep bragging about how we need to keep focusing on fossil
Mhm.
fuels, but places like Brazil and Costa Rica 98% of their energy is conducted um through
Renewable like
solar or wind or
mhm.
renewable energy. Like
Green.
Brazil is the same way. Brazil, 92% of the energy generated. Now,
Yeah.
granted, people call these third world countries, but these have huge populations of people, very
Yeah.
similar to first world countries, right?
Yep.
And they're somehow able to generate that. And they did it not only to benefit their country, but it is affordable for their citizens.
Right.
Like, you have to think
That
of
part.
affordability. If you have a few million people or citizens in your area and their average wage that they make per day is $3 a day or $4 a day, you can't charge them $800 or 600 or 400 or 200 or whatever
Right.
we've been charged in America
Yeah.
for electricity. Like,
Hmm.
I know
You
I have
can't.
some friends that have had $600-700 bills regularly for electric,
Yes.
and they're like, I have reached out to this company and I've asked for them to do readings and X, Y, and Z, and still nothing will bring their costs down. And
It's wild.
mine is like up towards 175 during the hot months during the summer for AC, and during the winters like maybe $88. But
Hmm.
some countries that make $4 or $5, $3, whatever a day, they can't afford that. So we have to think of things that are cost efficient. And even in first world countries like America, we want to save money too. We don't want to be pickpocketed by our government and big
No.
businesses. We want to be able to have our money stretch as far as possible. That's also why we tend to vacation in third world countries
Hmm.
where our
Hmm.
money can stretch and we can feel like kings and queens when we go there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, what I saw in my research was that wind turbines, if say you own land, which I know you and I, Jackie, are looking to save right now and purchase some land to do things like this,
Exactly.
one wind turbine you can put on a quarter of an acre of your land. The government will pay
Yeah.
just to put a turbine on your property. And what I thought was amazing is you can still farm around it. Like, you and I
Mhm.
want to grow flowers and plants and
Yep.
food and
Greenhouse.
raise animals and
Yep.
do greenhouses.
Hmm.
And if we realize that we can do we can earn money from a wind turbine and still grow, food and resources around it. That sounds phenomenal to me.
Absolutely. Okay.
Wind turbines, every year, just a quarter acre of the land is 1,000 to 1,500 a year. So that's
Mhm.
just over $1,000 a month just to have a wind turbine somewhere on your property.
Yep.
Now I hear that it could produce a little bit of noise. Doesn't really matter. It's not a lot of noise. It's natural. It's the wind. Who doesn't want to hear the wind? Calm down. Solar energy, I heard, is even more
Mhm.
profitable because 1 acre, I know that's a little bit more, but 1 acre of solar powered land. So, say you have 10 acres of land and you solar powered all of your land, right?
Mhm.
That
Yep.
is 1,000 to 1,800 a year that the
Per
government
acre.
will pay you.
Right.
Yeah, just for having per acre, right?
Mhm.
1,000 to
Mhm.
1,800 per acre. So again, if that's 10 acres, that's 10,000 to 18,000 a year, right?
Yep. Yep.
And the incredible thing with solar power is that they will actually increase it between 2 to 3% every year for up to 25 years.
Which is
So
amazing.
you're making crazy profit off of solar even more than wind. And another like thing people don't know about solar is even when it's not sunny, say you live in Seattle and it's cloudy, you're still getting them sun rays, baby. Just like whenever you get sunburnt on a cloudy day, the sun rays still penetrate through clouds. So you can still utilize your solar
Mhm.
energy
Mhm.
throughout darker, gloomier days
Mhm.
or periods of time or wherever you're at. So
Yeah.
like you
It
don't
would
have
just
to
be
be
like
like,
Alaska when they had that time where it's dark for so long. It'd be places like that that it's like, okay, solar's not as beneficial, but
so
there's
they would
so
have
many other.
solar and wind then, because I'm sure the wind is there year round, not maybe the sun, but maybe in places like Alaska, the wind turbines would be much better for them.
Right, right, right. And like you said, like the benefit of making that money off of it, it's also, you are doing something that is putting good back into this earth. You're doing
Right.
something that is sustainable, it's renewable. So it's gonna be a benefit and a perk. One of the things for me that I feel like that aligns with me, with our mission, with our vision is really the, self-care routines that are important to remember, especially on Earth Day. Things
Absolutely.
that we can do to just kind of take care of ourselves. And I really like the one I know you turned me to a long time ago. I had never actually even heard of it until you had mentioned that your son was doing it, was what it was. And the oil pulling.
Yes. Love it.
Some coconut oil, it's natural. Just put it in your mouth, wait for a little bit, and just all the
Yeah.
toxins. Like, it's
Yeah, I
so.
wait about 20 minutes and you just swish it around. Make sure to not swallow it because it is very toxic because it's pulling the toxins out of your body. And I can literally feel my sinuses draining into it, like the mucus and everything going into my mouth.
Yes.
So when I spit it out, it's definitely more than just coconut oil. And my breath instantly smells better. I feel cleaner. It's just I feel amazing afterwards. I can feel the benefits of using coconut oil to pull, like, just start your day. That morning breath
Yeah.
gone instantly. It's
It's
amazing.
Yeah. And for me, I know, especially like with my allergies, and I just feel so like full, and just
Yes.
do a little bit of oil pull, and it's wild because I know
It's
when I spit it out, because just like you said, you can tell the difference. You can
yeah.
see the little oil spots,
Yeah.
but then it's not just oil.
It's mucus. Yeah, you
It
literally
is.
could see your mucus
You
come
can
out.
you see
Yeah.
it's like you hawked a big one, and it's
Yeah, literally.
and the thing
That's
that's
why the
really.
20 minutes is really important because you want
Mhm.
time for that to move through your body into your mouth
Yep.
to draw it out. And I mean it's especially during this spring season, very important because a lot of people get a lot of allergies from flowers and plants, grass, all of it. So I think
Mhm.
it's really important to clean your body as often as you can, and it's a natural,
Yep.
inexpensive way to be able to clean your body and again get nice little side effects like great breath.
Exactly, exactly. And know that you're not using something that's packed with chemicals. It's
Right. It's
natural.
natural. Right.
and then what you're also putting down, in waste. It's just it's really awesome. I like it. I also use
Absolutely.
the glass jars, for less plastic waste. I mean, just different little details like that. And,
Right.
another one I thought was really cool was doing just a little facial steam with some like lemon and mint or chamomile in a hot water bowl. Put your face down in it with a towel. It's amazing. Like I did this the other day and actually even did like a little intro, like an instructional video with it, and man, it opened me up so crazily. And yeah, no, it was just wonderful. Essential oils, I love all of that. You can even do like a homemade toner with like apple cider vinegar. And
Wow.
I love all these self-care, and I know all you have to do is like Google it, and
Yeah.
they come up with all kinds of
Yeah.
recipes, and that's probably one of
Just
my
Google
favorites.
DIY and you'll find a lot of natural DIY things for everything from cleaning products to, you know,
Yes.
self care, like you were talking about. I absolutely love it. And the goal should be to try to get as few ingredients as possible in your body at a time. You don't want things that have names that you can't pronounce being put in your
Exactly.
body and you not understanding exactly what it is. And not all those things are necessarily harmful, but when you have trace amounts of it in the mass majority of the products you're using, it's no longer trace amounts, it's massing to
It-
larger amounts of those toxins in our body, hence us getting more and more sick. And so instead we should, you know, get as little as possible in us. So having things like the apple cider vinegar, that's one ingredient, or your steam that has like just two or three all natural ingredients, four or whatever,
Mhm.
So I
Right.
think that's really special. And again, all of those things on our earth, because everything that you talked about came from earth. It comes
Yep.
from earth. So because of that, we are honoring earth and we're allowing earth to give back to us. So it's like a nice symbiotic relationship. It gives to us and we give back to it by not polluting it with all these
Exactly.
man-made chemicals,
Hmm.
because once we're done with it, it's not hurting the earth again, going back to
What
the
goes
earth.
back into the earth, which is very
Right.
important to remember. For you, I know some of the things that I've heard you talk about, it's about what's going back into the earth as well, and what we're
Right.
doing to our earth and how we're getting things from it. It's, what are some other things you feel that align with you that can be done, on Earth Day, or to focus on and know?
Um, I think highlighting creating communities that thrive on sustainability and renewable resources. I, in my research, heard about this guy named Jason Walker in this rural farming hub in Southwest
Mhm.
Minnesota. And he is really leading in the renewable energy campaign out there. And he's like taking these very small rural communities and showing them the benefits of wind and solar energy and saving these people tons of money, creating jobs in the area, and
Amazing.
just giving back to the earth as well by having less pollutants that go back into our air and back into our earth. So
Mhm.
just, I would say, looking for companies like that and supporting them, or looking for places like that already have created the outline, and figure out ways that maybe you can create or move into smaller communities that will allow for such things to be added as well. Or see if you can talk to your bigger communities or your job or any other place to be like, hey, here are some benefits that I found out that we have to converting to solar energy. Like, this is the
Right.
amount of money I saw that we would potentially save a year, and it only
Mhm.
costs this amount, plus you get these huge tax credits or breaks
Exactly.
from converting to solar. So I think it would be really cool to see people just thinking on a larger scale. I mean, because yes, individually we can do things, but if we can talk to the people around us and really get these bigger corporations and companies to realize that this is what we want something that can be cheaper and healthier for us. And again, going back to the communities that it really works in, like Costa Rica and Brazil, these have, specifically Brazil, huge numbers of people. So it's not like we're like comparing them to a small country like
Right.
Ireland and being like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this small country can do it. Why not ours? Like we have 365 million people that we need to take care of, and provide electricity and power to. So we have to think on a grand scale. So when we can see large countries like Brazil and Costa Rica that can have 90+% of their energy renewable, I mean, that's something that I personally get excited about because I
Yeah.
want to see more of us pay less and less for the energy
Yeah.
so that we can do the things that we need to do, to survive in other areas, because we don't want these large bills. We want to be able to
Yeah, we
decrease these
don't.
bills so that we can again give back to the society and to the world, and hopefully find ways to reverse the effects that we have done to this earth instead of continue to add to it.
Exactly. And that, because that forward momentum, right? Like it's not going to go to a good place if we don't, change. It's definitely, it leads somewhere 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel one of the things that is important as well is all the information, right, that we've talked about, and the amount that is still out there too, and the avenues, like it's the help is out there, and all we got to do is just take that initiative and, research. It's right
Right.
in our local backyards, and to say something, like share it, right? So sharing on social media, just different things that we can do or want to do, reaching out and finding other communities that go and pick up trash or go and, volunteer to teach other people how to recycle. I've seen like classes online on social media where it's a guide to composting. It's a 3 day
Yeah,
weekend. It's a women's retreat, basically, and they teach you how to compost and
that's
how to
awesome.
homestead and how to can goods. And, I just thought that
That's
was cool. So,
amazing.
like, yeah, so social media, which to all our viewers, just letting you know, a really good way is to share our channel, share our episode of Earth Day, right, to everybody, and, your friends, anybody that you care about, or your community as well. So, don't forget to like our
And
video, to
subscribe.
and subscribe and follow us. Absolutely. Share, all the love and loving the earth. And because the earth gives back to us, constantly.
Yes. So
Constantly.
we should definitely give back to her. She's
Yeah,
amazing. We're grateful for
exactly.
her. And we're
Exactly.
grateful for you all. Thank you again for taking time out
Yes.
of your busy lives to
Mm.
take a moment to view us and to see what we're talking about and how we think. And again, if there's any suggestions you all have or comments, we're happy to read them and get back to you and potentially do some episodes on some topics you're interested in hearing about. So
Yes,
thank you
that'd be fun. We
again.
love that. Bye.
Bye.